Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome back to another Sims 4 speedbuilding video, or welcome to the channel if you are new here. So in today's video, I'm going to be building in the world of Brindleton Bay, which is the world that we got from the expansion pack The Sims 4 Cats and Dogs, and I'm going to be building a Brindleton Bay family home, and I built it using all the new items that we got from the latest kit that came out yesterday, which was the Sims 4 Bathroom Clutter Kit. So this house ends up having 3 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms, and it's built on a 30 by 20 lot. Now, I wanted to build in Brindleton Bay this week because I feel like it's been some time since I last built here. I think the last time I built in this world, I built pretty much a massive, I say pretty much, it was a massive mansion. It was on like a 50 by 40 lot, but I just fancied just sitting down and building kind of like a cozy family home. And of course I wanted to kind of experiment with all the new stuff that we got from yesterday's new kit release, and so yeah, I built this house. I hope you guys like it. But getting on and actually talking a little bit more about the house itself. So this house ends up having 3 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. There is also a laundry room and a home office, and by the way, the bathroom on the upstairs level, I didn't even do it on purpose because we got a bathroom kit yesterday. It just ends up being an absolutely massive bathroom. Ends up having like a little bit of an extension on the bathroom which goes into like a towel, extra blankets, extra pillowcases kind of storage unit, if you get what I mean. You know, where you keep all like your towels and all your extra soft things that you might use for a bathroom or like bathrobes. It ends up being absolutely massive, the bathroom, and I promise you, I didn't even do it on purpose because we got a new kit release. It was just the way the floor plan planned out, which you can actually see that I'm already moving on and doing the floor plan. You see on the right hand side, that room has kind of got like a little room coming off it. I just put an archway in there. That ends up being a bathroom, absolutely massive, which, to be honest, probably worked out in my favour, because then that way I basically got to use every single new item, apart from one item I think, that we got within the new kit. And the one item that I didn't use was, have you seen the teeth in a jar? Didn't feel like it was appropriate for this build, and so I didn't use it. But apart from that, I think I pretty much was able to place down everything else that we got within this new kit. Which, by the way, if you have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about, we did get 2 new kits yesterday. It was new kit day. It was the first release for 2023 in terms of Sims 4 DLC. We got 1 Creator Sim kit, which I'm yet to download. I will be downloading it, but my internet yesterday was really playing up when I was trying to, basically, when we got an update earlier this week, I think we got an update on Tuesday for kind of like some general bug fixes in the game. I never update my game straight away. I leave a few days, and so whenever I go into my game, I have to turn off my internet manually, like on my PC. But then when it came around to downloading the new bathroom kit, which came out yesterday, I kind of shot myself in the foot because I needed to do the game update as well as download the new kit, and my internet, I live basically in a field, like it's not up to scratch, and so it took me forever to download the 1 kit. And so because of that, I thought I'm gonna leave downloading the Creator Sim kit until it comes around to me actually playing the game myself, and then I'll download it then. But yeah, we got 2 new kits yesterday. The Clutter Bathroom Kit, which is basically loads of just bits and bobs to clutter up your bathroom with. There is like hair dryers, little soaps. There is finally a new toilet roll holder thing. Also an individual piece of toilet roll, which I didn't expect would ever get something like that in the game, but I really appreciate it. It's going to be so handy when you're coming around to doing like laundry rooms or utility rooms. Like the laundry room in this house, I basically moved objects, a bunch of them on top of each other to make it look like stacks of toilet roll that, you know, if your sim needs toilet roll, they're good. They've got like a little storage unit of them. But then we also got something which I'm so excited about, some light switches in the game. Do you know how long I've wanted just a basic light switch in The Sims 4? And it's taken them how many years? Like 9 years or something to be able to finally implement it into the game. So I use them in every single room in this house, and also something that I'm so excited for the inside of this like interior. I also use plug sockets, which I feel like I need to explain very quickly here. You'll see me do it in literally every single room, because every single room in this house I placed down multiple different light switches depending on how many lights there were in the room, as well as multiple different plug sockets. So you'll see me do it many times over. But basically the plug sockets don't actually come within this new kit. Now the plug sockets are actually on the back of a wall light that we got from the Parenthood game pack. You know, sometimes when you put a kid to sleep and they get a bit scared in the night, and then there's like a monster underneath the bed, and then you have to get like an adult or someone with like some sort of authority to come and like either spray the monster under the bed or like calm the kid down and then put them back to sleep. Sometimes you can add a ball light onto kids' bedrooms and then that doesn't really happen. But there is a ball light that we got from the Parenthood game pack, which if you actually flip it, I don't know why they did this, but if you actually flip it 180 degrees, there is a plug socket on the back of the light, which makes absolutely no sense because when you place it onto a wall, you can't even see this small little detail, but it's there and it's been there for literally ever since we got the Parenthood game pack. But the thing is, I have never added it into a build because I thought, well, what's the point of me adding a plug socket into all of these rooms within all the builds that I do if we have no light switches? Like, it's never really made much sense to me. And so, yeah, I've just never used it before because my mindset beforehand was, would I'd rather have a build that has no plug sockets and no light switches rather than just a plug socket, if you get what I mean. Do you understand my mentality with that one? Because it makes no sense in terms of realism. You've either got the full shebams, you've like fully got an electrician round and they've like fully wired up your house, or you've not had an electrician round. I don't know, I've just never done it before, but yeah, I finally got to do it in this house and I went to town with the amount of plug sockets and like, not too much, don't worry, I made it so it looks realistic, but it was a lot of fun, is what I'm basically trying to say. And I cannot believe this one singular light switch has honestly brought me so much happiness. Like, it just made me so happy. Just we've got so many new things in this new kit which I feel like they're just things that we've needed in the game, but like just updates of things as well. Like, for example, we've got a new like toothpaste and toothbrush holder. Literally since The Sims 4 launched in 2014, we've only ever had one version of this clutter item, which I feel like I use in literally every single residential lot that I ever do. I always like there to be like a toothpaste, toothbrush holder thing in the bathroom somewhere, just for that little bit of realism. But this whole entire time, we've only ever had one version of it. We've finally got a new version of one. We've also got like an updated toilet roll holder and updated soap and just loads of just smaller details that I really appreciate. And so, yeah, I had a lot of fun just going in with the bathrooms and the laundry room and just cluttering it up with all these different like bits and pieces basically. But anyway, moving on from that and actually getting back and talking about the build and also what I'm doing right now. So as you can see, I've pretty much done the whole main structure and I'm already coming in and just doing some little details on this front porch. Now over here, you can see that I've added in this little stool and you're probably thinking, what is this? Like, what are you doing? Basically, I had the idea in my head that the Sims family that lives here are just a really friendly family, and I imagine they're the kind of Sims that would leave packages out for like delivery drivers and their postmen. And so I got this stool which you got from the Jungle Adventure game pack, and I basically move objects. This little, I think it's meant to be like a snacking box or something. It's like a cardboard box and it's filled with like packets of crisps and cans and stuff, and we got it from the Everyday Clutter Kit. Basically, I put it on top of this stool and I also merged this little debug note and a bit of paper and a pen basically, and I made it look like maybe the Sims family had written a note to maybe like their local postman that they see every single day, and maybe they've written a note like, oh, would you mind putting the parcel around the back fence or something? Here's a packet of crisps for your troubles or something. And so that was what that was at the front of the build. It was like a small little detail, but yeah, I liked that idea. Saying that though, maybe the note says thank you for, maybe it's been like thunderstorms or something and they've written a note saying thank you for coming out in this horrible weather. Here's packet of crisps, or here's a can of soda or whatever. I don't know, because I'm only saying that because now thinking about it, I did merge in some parcels underneath the store as well as some letters, and so maybe they have multiple deliveries come every single day. I don't know, but I thought it was a nice little sweet detail to add at the front of the build on like the front little porch area, and so that's exactly what I did. But now, as you can see, I've now moved over into the back garden and I'm just going around and just doing some back garden landscaping. I did decide to change the colour of the grass, which I've been doing this more so recently. I feel like I've been changing the terrain paint in the grass to make it look like the Sims that live here. You know, they keep their grass nice and green and they get it cut like every single week or something. And so I did decide to change the colour of the grass. And then at the end of the garden, I basically used some mud to make it look like some areas of the grass are a little bit more worn down than others, if you get what I mean. So it looks like it's been trodden on a few more times. But you can see over here, I'm just focusing on this little back fence area. It's where the bins are. There's also like a little live edit debug bin bag. I feel like now whenever I do like exterior bin areas, I always add in that little bin bag decoration, which, by the way, if you're curious and you're worried, it's not something that's gonna like go off. It's not gonna start smelling and flies won't be like hovering around it. It's just a purely decorational thing. We got it in the live edit menu and we got it from, I think, the Eco Lifestyle expansion pack. It's in that live edit menu, but it's basically just a piece of live edit just rubbish that you can find in the world of Evergreen Harbour. And I like adding it next to like trash cans, because realistically sometimes your bins get a little bit full up, and so you can't always place a full bin bag into your bin, and so sometimes you might have to just pop one down next to it. And so I always feel like I do that, more so ever since we've got that expansion pack. But over here in the back garden, you can see that I've already placed down some planters. The ones that I've used are from the Werewolves game pack, if you're curious. I feel like now whenever I place down planters, I more so go towards them ones because they look a little bit more like rustic and a little bit more weathered. So it looks like they've been rained on. It looks like they've been through a thunderstorm or maybe like a blizzard or something. Whereas some of the other ones that we've got from like the Sims 4 base game, they don't look like that. They look a little bit more perfect. And so yeah, I placed down some planters in the corner. There is also like a little hanging washing line in the garden. There is also a swing set over here, which if you're looking at this by the way and you're thinking, Jess, this is way too close to the tree, my Sims are going to go into the tree, don't worry. I had that mindset. I had that thought occurred in my mind when I was building this. And so when I came around and I place tested it, I watched very closely on my sim, like when they were swinging on both the swings, and they don't go into the trees, they don't like interact with the landscaping, they just kind of like glide, if you want to put it that way, over landscaping. So if you're looking at it and thinking it looks too close to the tree, don't be worried. Rest assured, your Sims won't like clip into it or anything. But also in the back garden, there ends up being like a basketball hoop. I end up placing down like a little soccer ball. Also end up placing down like a flower arranging table and like a little barbecue area. Also did add in a telescope, which I had made such a conscious effort to remind myself to put this telescope into the back garden, because I've said this before, I'm pretty sure, but the telescope is a perfect thing. It fits perfectly into back gardens. I say fits perfectly. You can only use the telescope in a back garden. Like if you put the telescope in your Sim's bedroom and you try and aim it out the window, don't bother. Like you can't do it because your Sims can't interact with it. And so it's very much a garden item or like an outside item. But for some reason, the Sims team, when they were putting it into the different categories in the build and buy menu, they didn't end up placing it into the back garden category. And so I always forget about it. But I made a conscious effort when I was doing this back garden to remind myself. And so I just plopped it into the back garden. Also placed down like a little chair next to it, one that looks like you can fold it up, so it doesn't look like it's a chair that's there all the time. I purposely used the one that we've got from City Living because it looks like your Sim can just like fold it and then just take it inside and then, I don't know, maybe chuck it in like the laundry room or something. But anyway, moving from that, as you can see, I've now moved on into the inside of this house, and like always, I started off by doing the hallway. Now you can already see what I've started doing, which I'm so excited about. We've already got 2 light switches. We've already got a plug socket. If you didn't manage to catch on what I was doing with the plug socket, because like I said, the plug socket did not come within this new like bathroom kit. The plug socket has been something that has been on the back of a light that we've had since the Parenthood game pack. You're going to see how I do it. Basically, you have this particular light from the Parenthood game pack. It's meant to be a night light. You're meant to put it in a kid's room. Then the scary monster under the bed won't appear, basically, yeah? Basically, if you flip it 180 degrees, there's a little detail plug socket. I have absolutely no idea why it's there, because when you place down this light normally onto a wall and like it clips the wall, you can't even see the plug socket. So I don't know what was happening there. Maybe the person that was designing this light on the Sims team, maybe they just had a little bit of extra time after lunch when they were building this light or something. I don't know. But basically, if you flip this light 180 degrees, there's then this little plug socket. You can see that I'm doing it over here. Basically, what I did in this build is I placed down the light onto the wall, and then using the tool mod, I rotated it 180 degrees. I then scaled it up by 1.1, so it was a tiny little bit bigger, and then I used the gravity pull feature to kind of like pull it out of the wall, and then boom, you got a plug socket. Honestly, I'm so happy. It really is the smaller things in life that make me happy, because the amount of joy and happiness this one little small detail brought me into this build, it was just completely unmatched. But you can see that I've pretty much done the full entrance hallway into the build. Now, something that I didn't do on purpose, but basically the way that I did the floor plan, the way that I built the house in terms of how big I made it, it ended up turning out so the entrance hallway to get into the build, it was also the same hallway to get to the back of the build. So you can go from the front to the back in literally like one room. So in the actual hallway itself, you've got 2 sets of doors, one that goes to the front garden and then one that goes to the back garden. We also have like a little side table. I cluttered it up with loads of different like photo frames, some glasses, some like little sticky notes, and just loads of little bits and bobs. I used some wall decorations that we got from the Everyday Clutter Kit, and it looks like loads of different like letters, like posts, and so I placed that down onto the wall, also like a mirror and a plant. But now you can see that I've moved on, and I started furnishing the laundry, or like laundry room. I don't know why I paused them, but you know, utility room, laundry room. This is basically where your Sims can wash their clothes. You know what I mean anyway. But you can see that I've already started using some of the new items that we got from this new bathroom clutter kit in here. So one of them being that individual toilet roll item clutter piece. I'm so happy over a bit of toilet roll. I can't actually believe how much happiness this one single object has brought me. And the thing is as well, I didn't even realise this when I was building this. There is other swatches on the toilet roll, but I was just so happy just to get the first one that I didn't even bother looking through the swatches of the toilet roll itself. But there is, I think, like a floral version of it. I think there's like a quilted version, and I have seen that there's also a version where, you know, when sometimes you pull toilet roll and it doesn't come off perfectly and it goes a little bit ragged. There's basically a version where it looks like someone's just aggressively pulled a bit of toilet roll. But basically, I took this new clutter piece and I put it on top of these shelves. The shelves themselves are from the Laundry Day Stuff pack, and I basically made a tower of toilet roll because I was so happy I couldn't just use it once, and so I basically put a bunch of them together to make it look like this Sims family, they've got a supply of bog roll or toilet roll, whatever you want to call it. I say bog roll, like I actually say that myself. I don't ever call toilet roll bog roll, but I know some people do. So, you know, you've got supplies of it. If this was 2020, this would be an absolute gold mine, this house, because if you're from the UK, you might remember when we had like a toilet paper shortage. This house, you sorted if you live here. But yeah, that was in the little laundry room, utility room area. I also placed down a new candle that we got within the game, which came from the clutter kit. The candle itself, I'm a little bit disappointed because when you actually pull it out, there's no actual flame to the candle, but I still appreciate that we've got a candle looking item because we don't really have anything like that in the game. We have one candle which comes in some really funky swatches. I did actually use it in the back garden on like the little barbecue area patio table, but that one was from, I think, the backyard stuff pack. And then I think we've got like some other ones from like the holiday pack, and just we haven't really got any plain candles, and so that was very well needed in the Sims 4. But now, as you can see, I've now moved over and I've started furnishing the kitchen. Quickly, you would have seen that I just did the little entrance hallway to go into the kitchen. Ended up just placing down basically a ton of different like plug sockets, a few different light switches, and then also a chest table as well. I was going to place down a side table into this hallway, but then I thought, well, I've already got a side table round the corner, and I'd rather have like more gameplay in this house, and so I decided to add a chest table so maybe your Sims want to practice their logic or something. But you can see in the kitchen, I decided to use these counters which we got from the Sims 4 base game, my absolute favourite counters, and so I decided to pair it with this Parenthood wallpaper, and then the oven and the fridge are from the Sims 4 base game. Thing is, I don't know if you've noticed this, but I normally use this base game fridge anyway, because if you're not aware, the Sims 4 cabinets hardly ever will go like smoothly over a fridge that you place down into the game, and that fridge that I've used in this kitchen is the only one where cabinets and like the fridge, it doesn't like clip into each other. So I always place it down thinking, oh, it's going to be smooth in terms of like the cabinet situation. But then I always end up sizing up ever so slightly using the tool mod, because for some reason, whenever you place down a fridge next to a counter, there's a slight little gap, and it always really annoys me. And so I have to size it up because it just gets on my nerves. So whenever I size it up, it then ends up merging into the cabinets above it. But yeah, I thought I'd mention that if you're not aware, that fridge, it normally, before you size it up with the tool mod, it does fit underneath the counters or like the cabinets in the game. And I believe it's the only one, or it might be one of the only ones that actually do that. But anyway, in this kitchen, as you can see, I end up placing down like a coffee station. There's also a microwave. I also cluttered it up with so much clutter, like so many different mugs and little tins of things. Also placed down some shelves onto the wall and put like bookcases and some spices. I also did use, and I know someone's probably gonna clock onto this, I also did use some bath salts that we got from this new bathroom kit onto the shelves. But in all fairness, I used it in a colour swatch so it doesn't look like bath salts. It looks like some sort of herb or something, but I also placed them down onto the shelves as well. Going back to the plug socket situation, I really wanted to fit it into every single space that I feel like it would be realistic to have a plug socket in a house. And so you might notice by the fridge and like behind the microwave, even though I don't even think you can see it, but I did also place down a plug socket there, and then also a plug socket on the other side of the room where the coffee machine is, because, you know, if you've got a coffee machine, you need to plug it in, you need to get electricity into it. And so I placed some of them down, as well as some like light switches in the wall. And then on the opposite side, like the opposite side of the kitchen, the opposite wall, that ends up being like a tool cabinet, is also the Parenthood board, so your Sims can like set curfews and maybe like write a note to one another, give each other like a picture or something. And there is also 2 pet food bowls as well, because the picture because the family that I picture living in this house, I was thinking had both a dog and a cat. And so I placed their little food bowls down as well. Also placed down like a little rug underneath it as well. So maybe if they're eating their food and they're getting a little bit messy, then hopefully like the mat will catch it and then it'll be easier to clean up. But as you can see, I've now moved over into the next room, which is the dining room. So in here, I decided to use the table and chairs which came from the Cats and Dogs expansion pack. As I'm building in the world of Brindleton Bay, I use a lot of like Brindleton Bay Cats and Dogs seasidey kind of items, because the world of Brindleton Bay, it was the first introduction of kind of like a beachy world, even though now we've got Sulani and that's a literal like a vacation beach world. But Brindleton Bay came before Sulani, and it was the first time we ever got like beaches in the game, and it still remains to be like one of my favourite worlds, Brindleton Bay. But the world itself is very like coastal, and so you might notice on the interior of this house I did decorate it to have a lot of the furniture pieces from the Cats and Dogs expansion pack, and also some like coastal looking items. Like you see in the corner, I placed down that little, it's kind of like a corner decoration, don't know how to describe it, but it's basically like a wall shelf. You can see over here it's got like a little sailboat in it, and it's also got some like plates and photo frames, and I'm pretty sure the bottom shelf has like a box full of like acorns or something. But I did use quite a lot of Brindleton Bay coastally looking items in this house, but only because I'm building in the world of Brindleton Bay and it kind of makes sense. But in the dining room itself, it ends up being the table and the chairs in the middle. There is also kind of like a little china cabinet in the corner. The one that I've used is from the Cottage Living expansion pack. There is also a little armchair, and I also got this pillow which we got from the High School Years expansion pack, and I've done this so many times. Basically, I love this armchair, but it feels a little bit, it doesn't feel comfortable enough for me sometimes. And so what I like to do is I like to get pillows. Sometimes in the past I've used like actual armchairs and like rotated them. Previously I've used this pillow that we've got from the little campus kit. It's got like loads of different like pine trees and camper vans in it. But now with the High School Years expansion pack, we've got a plain white pillow in the debug menu. Basically I pulled it out and then I rotated it, and then I just kind of like put it at an angle and then merged it into the chair, and it looks like the pillow belongs in the chair. And I also sized up a little toy and put it on the armchair as well to make it look like the kid in this house maybe it's just like left their teddy bear downstairs or something. But now, as you can see, I've moved over and I've started furnishing the home office. Now originally when I came in and I was doing the floor plan like at the start of the video, I didn't actually plan out this room to be here. Basically I was going to make this room into the lounge room, so it was just going to be an absolutely massive lounge. And then I was thinking, oh, I'll just have like a desk in the corner, a bookcase, and I'll call it a day. But then when I actually came in and I started doing the wallpapering, I then realised how big the lounge room would have been. And so then I decided to like separate it off, so it's like a nice little separate office space. But in here, I was at one point going to do it so there was going to be a corner desk, only because, to be honest with you, I really didn't know how to fill this room out, because realistically in a home office, what do you have other than like a bookcase and maybe like a few filing cabinets? And I didn't want to place down filing cabinets into this home office because I just didn't picture it being that kind of home office. This is more like a family room, the kids when they were growing up. Maybe this is where they played The Sims when they were growing up, because when I was younger we had like a family PC in the dining room, and then that's where I used to play The Sims anyway. So I was thinking that this was maybe one of them kind of rooms and not so much like an actual office space, if you get me. And so originally I was going to do like a corner desk to kind of like fill out the space really nicely, but then the desk that I was going to use is from the Sims 4 base game, and it's quite modern, and so I thought, you know what, I'm not going to do that. I then did try another desk, which I can never remember where this one is from. It's either from Discover University or Cats and Dogs, possibly even the High School Years expansion pack. Basically, I pulled it out. You might have noticed I placed down a PC onto it and then instantly deleted it, because then I remembered, for some reason, the way that that desk had been designed, whenever you place a computer onto it, the keyboard like looks like it's about to fall off. I think I might have only ever used this one particular desk that I'm talking about. You would have seen it when I first started that home office, but I think I might have only ever used it like once or something, because it is just the way that it's designed, you can't have a PC on it, and I wanted it to be a home office with a computer, so kind of like defeats the object if I haven't got one in there. But yeah, I would have thought when the Sims team make items like desks or like tables, they would make sure that everything can fit on it, and especially like a computer desk, you'd make sure like a computer can actually fit on it. The computer itself fits, but like the actual keyboard, it looks like it's about to fall off. Like it looks like if someone was to walk past it, that keyboard will be on the floor within a matter of seconds. But either way, I ended up settling with one which I think is from the Cats and Dogs expansion pack, the one I ended up going for. And then I also placed down like a little bookcase in that room. There is also a fish tank, which I thought, why not? We're in Brindleton Bay, your Sims can go fishing at the back of this house. And then on that idea, I then thought, okay, well maybe the Sims that live in this house, they could potentially be really into fishing. And so then you might notice I placed down some mounted fish onto the wall, as well as some wall decorations. The one that I placed down is from the Everyday Clutter Kit, and it looks like a little like fishing rod, and there's like a little picture of a sim that seems to be like holding up a fish. I thought, nice little detail to add into that room. And then on the opposite side of the wall, I think I ended up placing down like a little cart, which also has the, oh, what's it called? You know when your Sims can do like cross stitching? It's basically that little object within the cart itself. So your Sims can do a little bit of cross stitching in this house if they do decide to. And then there is also a little heater as well, like a little radiator. But now, as you can see, I've moved over into the next room, which is the lounge room. So for in here, this was actually the first room that I did the wallpaper for off camera. I thought, do you know what? I'm going to do a bit of a colourful, I say colourful, it's not actually that colourful, but colourful for me in terms of interior wallpapers, because normally whenever it comes around to doing wallpaper and flooring, I normally go for like wooden floors, like a classic oak wooden floor. But then in terms of wallpaper, I like them to be quite beige or just quite neutral, because then I feel like that way you can then decorate it with colourful furniture or like colourful pictures or wall decorations, and then kind of bringing the colour in that way. But for this room, this is the first room that I did the wallpaper for, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to step out my comfort zone a little bit, and I'm going to try and do it so it's like a greeny kind of colour, and I really like it. I end up using these sofas which are from the Sims 4 base game, and I also paired them with this fireplace which is from the Cottage Living expansion pack. And then I also found this rug which is again from base game. Don't know what it is with me recently, but I've been really a massive fan of these base game rugs. They're absolutely massive. They're the most expensive ones that we have in the game, and recently I've just been using them a ton. But I found that there was almost a perfect colour swatch on the rug to match the wallpaper, and so I thought, you know what, perfect fit, place that in there as well. And then in the corner, ended up adding a bookcase, also like a little toy bin which is from Parenthood. The one that I've used, by the way, isn't one that your Sims can interact with, like kids can't then go and like pull out a toy from it or like clean the toys up from it. It's just a purely decorative item, which I always wish the Sims team would have made that so it was an actual toy box, because the toy boxes that we've got in the game, I think we've only got like 3 or maybe even 4. I'm not the biggest fan of, and I would love like an open toy bin like that. It's just something that I feel like in terms of like kids decorations and like kids toys, we're kind of like lacking in the game. But yeah, I just finished that room off. I added like a cat scratching post in the corner, also like a plant and stuff. But now, as you can see, I've now moved on to the upstairs level, and I started off by furnishing the first room, which is the kids room. So in here, you might notice originally it was going to be grey, and so I thought originally I was going to decorate this room to be quite space themed. You know, in the garden I placed down that telescope. Well, when I placed that down, I went with the idea of, okay, well maybe the kid in this house really loves space, wants to grow up, become like an astronaut or something, and maybe I can decorate their room to be quite space themed. But then when it actually came around to decorating their bedroom, I first of all wanted to use this particular bed, which by the way, if you're wondering where this bed is from, it's from the High School Years expansion pack. But I wanted to use this one, and then I wanted to use all like white furniture pieces. I wanted to use the chest of drawers in the corner, which is from Parenthood, but the only real swatch of that I am a massive fan of is the white one. I also wanted to use this desk, which again is from the High School Years expansion pack, and then I just basically started adding in loads of different like white furniture pieces, which I love a bit of white furniture, but then when the walls were originally like grey wallpaper, it was just way too much. It was just no personality, a very bland room, and so I thought, do you know what, let's scrap the idea of having like a space related room. Because the reason why I originally painted the wallpaper grey, by the way, I kind of like nearly skipped over that point, a lot of the space related items that we have in The Sims 4 in terms of like kids bedroom decor are quite colourful, and so I thought, right, if I do a grey wallpaper, I can use the bedspread that's like, I think it's purple and orange, and then I can use all the different decorations that are all these different spacey colours, but you know, like all these different colourful posters, and they relate to space and rockets and spaceships and stuff. They're quite colourful, so originally I was like, alright, I'll just go for like a basic plain wall, and then I can merge in all these different decorations, and then that's where all the personality comes out. But then I just didn't like it at the start, so I thought, you know what, I'm going to scrap that idea. Maybe this kid, maybe they like space, but not to the extent that they want to have their whole entire bedroom and their whole entire personality related to like space and stuff. But in here you can see it ends up being quite cutesy decorated, if you want to put it that way. So I use this wallpaper, which is the same wallpaper that I originally placed down, but it's just in a different swatch. It's from, I believe, the Parenthood game pack, but it's this like white and yellow with these little tiny red hearts kind of like in the middle, kind of like a little trim to the wallpaper. It is so adorable, this wallpaper. Probably one of my favourite ones to use for kids' rooms. But then I also placed down this doll's house in the corner. The one that I placed down is from Eco Lifestyle. I did size it down, by the way. I always do this, and I rarely ever mention it, I feel like. But whenever you see me decorate kids' rooms or toddler rooms, 9 times out of 10, or actually 9.5 times that 10. I always size down the doll's house because it's just so big. Originally, when you put it out of like the build and buy menu, I don't know what the Sims team has with like making items so much bigger than what they need to be. But if you size down the doll's house, it still works. You can size it down as small as what you want, where your Sims don't actually interact. They don't like touch the object. Sims will kind of like sit in front of it and then like have the dolls in their hands. Where they don't like actually interact and they don't touch it, you can size it down as small as what you want, and then that way it's just easier to like place into rooms. But yeah, the one that I've used is from the Eco Lifestyle expansion pack. I always use the cardboard looking one because it's just the cutest one. And then there is also a teddy bear in the corner, and then there is also like a little desk area in that room as well. The desk is from the High School Years expansion pack. Also placed down at that. It's meant to be a computer and it functions the exact same way as a computer, but it looks like a tablet. I placed that down on the desk. We got it from the Pastel Pop Kit. I placed that down into that room as well, and then just basically placed down like a ton of different posters on the wall to kind of like fill out the empty space. But now, as you can see, I've now moved on into the next room, which is the teenager's bedroom. This is probably my favourite teenager's room that I've probably done in quite a long time. I'm so happy with the way this room turned out, and I didn't even set out with like an idea of who this teenager is, like what their interests are, what their hobbies are, but I really like the way this room came together, and the screenshots as well of this room are just, they're really pretty. But in here, I decided to use the same bed that I say same bed. It is the same kind of bed as the one that I use next door in the kids' room. So it's the same bed, but it's in double bed form. This is the thing as well, which I really, really appreciated. With the High School Years expansion pack, I think for the first time ever, they gave us single bed versions and double bed versions of the same bed. So you know sometimes you have a really nice single bed and you really wish you wanted it in double bed form. Well, for some reason they've only just now started doing it, but it's basically the exact same bed as next door, but just a bigger version, and it's just like a different colour swatch, if that makes any sense. But this is one of my favourite beds to use in teenagers' bedrooms, and to be honest, I must admit, I think I always go for like the same colour swatch, because the thing is, we've got so many new colour swatches of like duvet covers and pillows and stuff from the High School Years expansion pack. But this one and the one that I've used next door are like my two favourite ones. I still haven't even experimented with half the ones that we've got from High School Years, because where we've got, I think, 10 beds in total, because I think we've got 5 single beds and then 5 double beds, and they're like the same bed swatches, just like either a single bed form or a double bed form. I still haven't even used like a third of them, just because I always go to the same one or two because they're just my absolute favourite. But yeah, I use this like black metal bed frame, and then also this kind of like floral bedspread. But then over here, I want to talk about what I'm doing, because I was actually quite proud of myself over here. So I used one of the new clutter pieces that we got from this new bathroom kit, and you can see it's this little like cabinet, and at the minute it's directly next to the lamp, but I kind of merged it into the chest of drawers, because the one thing that we still don't have, even though we just got a bathroom kit, is a single hairbrush. Like the amount of times my hairbrush will just be sitting on my bedside table, or like it will just be on my chest of drawers, or just my hairbrush half the time it's never in its place. It's just like dotted around my bedroom. I wanted to do the same thing in this room, but where we've got this like new clutter piece, it's a hairbrush on top of it. I thought, why not try and merge it into the chest of drawers and try and hide the actual cabinet piece itself and make it look like only the hairbrush is like a single item. It worked. The chest of drawers worked. Didn't run into any problems when it came around to playtesting it. I was actually really proud of myself for that. It's such a small thing, but I was really proud of that idea. And guarantee you're probably going to see this in future teenagers' bedrooms or child's room, or even just like a few different young adults' bedrooms, because yeah, we still don't have like a single hairbrush item. Also, I did try and make it look like, because the actual cabinet piece that I merged into the chest of drawers, which you can't see, is kind of like hidden in between the chest of drawer unit. But on top of it, it looks like it's got like hairbands and hair clips. We've all got them dotted around our room. I wanted them to be on the chest of drawers as well. I just didn't want the actual cabinet piece, because I use it next door in the kids' room. I did originally want that like hairband, them like clips on top of it, to also be on the chest of drawers, but the thing that I noticed, it seems to be painted on top of the actual unit itself. So the cabinet clutter is kind of like 3 or 4 drawers. It's got the hairbrush on top, and it looks like it's got hairbands and hair clips, and I thought, great, I'll merge it in, I'll make it look like the hairbrush and then the hairbands are on top. But unfortunately, the hairbands and the clips don't seem to be like 3D objects. They seem just to be painted on top of the actual unit. And so when it came around to me trying to like merge it in, I did try and use the tool mod to try and elevate it ever so slightly, so they were like kind of sticking out, but then still the top of the unit was like you could see I could have made it into a tray. Maybe in the future I might play around with it and try and make it look like a little tray where you keep like your hairbrush and your hairband and stuff. But I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to merge it in completely so all you can see is the hairbrush. But yeah, I was really proud of that idea. I'm giving myself a pat on the back because we don't have anything like that, and I thought, why not? We've got it with an item. If I can try and hide the majority of the item and then still get away with it looking like an object that we don't have in the game, why not? And so yeah, that's pretty much what I did. But also on the chest of drawers as well, I placed down this little mirror. I'm not gonna lie, that took me about 10 minutes. I had to skip through it. It took me about 10 minutes to find it. It's this little individual mirror, and again, it looks like it's got like hair clips and like stickers on it. Perfect for teenagers' rooms. But the thing is, I never use it because I don't know where it is in the menu. And I searched through like the high school years expansion pack build and buy, the pastel pop kit build and buy, because I was absolutely adamant that it came with one of them 2 packs. In the end, I found it. Don't know what category it's like under in the build and buy category, but it's from the everyday clutter kit. If you are curious, never use it because I can never find it, but I thought it fitted in with that room, and so I decided to place it down as well. But then also in the bedroom, I ended up adding like a little desk area. There is also like a guitar, a yoga mat. There's also a TV opposite the double bed as well. I also placed down a speaker, but the TV that I use is from the Tiny Living Stuff pack, and I completely forgot for a second, but I placed down like a radio station speaker onto the TV unit. But the TV unit also functions as a bookcase as well as a music station. So in that room there is 2 radios. Wouldn't want to be in the bedroom next door to that teenager, but besides the point. Anyway, moving on. As you can see, I've now moved over into the bathroom, which I'm actually excited for this bathroom in this house, which I'm never excited to talk about bathrooms because normally bathrooms are quite boring. Like, what do you put in a bathroom? Because previously we didn't really have that many things that you can actually place into a bathroom to make it seem interesting. But now we've got this new kit that came out yesterday. I'm actually going to enjoy doing bathrooms in the future. So in here, do you remember when I said that it's quite a big space? It ends up being, I'm pretty sure, bigger than the child's bedroom. But the reason why this ends up being a bathroom and the child's room ends up being a bedroom and not the other way around is because there ends up being an ensuite also in this house, which I don't show you the ensuite for the parents' room, but the ensuite is directly next to the kids' room. And oftentimes when I do floor plans, I don't want 2 bathrooms to be directly next to each other. Sometimes it happens and it's just the way it works out. But if I can prevent it, I'll try and prevent it. And so that's why this room, which could potentially be a bedroom, if you want to have quite a nice sized bedroom, ends up being the bathroom. But in here, I decided to use obviously all the new stuff that we got from the new clutter kit. So for example, I use a new soap dispenser. We've had the same one soap dispenser from the Sims 4 base game since launch. Do you know how many times I've used that? Probably this might sound like an exaggeration, but probably a good 500, because I use a soap dispenser in every single bathroom that I do, in every single kitchen sink area that I do, and we've only ever had one in the game. We've now, with this new kit, we've finally got like a new, kind of like more updated, more modern looking one, so I use that in the bathroom. We've also got like a little individual hairdryer, we've also got like hair combs, and we've also got like an electric razor and a new toothbrush holder. Now the one that I used is actually just like a single glass, and it looks like it's got a tube of toothpaste and then a single toothbrush in it. But that bathroom that I decorated, I was more so thinking that the teenager and the kids shared it, whereas the parents have like their own little ensuite. But I didn't want to use this new like clutter piece that's only got one toothbrush in it, and so you might have noticed I basically found like a debug toothbrush and then rotated it and merged it in so it looks like there's a toothbrush for like each kid, if you get what I mean. But also in that room there ends up being like a bathtub, a shower, a toilet, the whole shebang basically that you have in every single bathroom. And then also off the bathroom that ends up being kind of like a little, like a towel storage unit space where I imagine they keep like spare towels or maybe like spare pillowcases or spare bedding or just stuff like that. But now, as you can see, I've now moved on into the last room, which is the parents' room. So in here they also have a fireplace, because on the downstairs level this is the exact location on like, if you just go bird's eye view, there's a fireplace exactly down below it, and then there's also a chimney on the exterior. And so I thought, why not use up the space and place down a fireplace into this room as well, because there was a chimney, so for realism purposes it does kind of make sense. But in here I'm just going to go around, finish it off and make some final touches. I know I didn't like the double bed, which is from Cats and Dogs, and then the matching chest of drawers, but the final touches is of course going to be my new favourite things, light switches and plug sockets. And then apart from that, that is basically it. So anyway guys, I'm going to end this voiceover right here. As always, you can download this build via the gallery. My gallery ID is JessicapieYT, or you can just search for the hashtag JessicapieYT or just the hashtag Jessicapie. As always, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and as always, if you do like my content then please do subscribe, and hopefully I will see you in my next Sims 4 speedbuilding video. Bye guys.